Good afternoon, students.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay. Right. So, as a part of the paper 4, History of Modern World, um, we had certain things regarding the imperialism in the last class. Because imperialism was the first concept from the model 1. We have to see about imperialism and uh, imperialistic rivalries among certain European powers. Okay, so I'll give you some of things regarding the imperialism and how the imperialism different from the colonialism, and I will give you how the rivalry which taken place in between these imperialistic European powers basically. Okay. So before going to my lecture, I have to share my screen, and then I'll continue my lecture. Okay. So you are well known that colonialism and imperialism both are we use the both terms in a single meaning, and both had the similarity also, and where the colonialism, we'll see some the difference between both, and then I'll give you the uh, the old imperialism and the new age of imperialism and the causes for imperialism first of all, and I will give you the how the rivalry taken place between these imperialistic powers also. Okay, so before going to that, I have to give you the difference, the basic difference between the colonialism and imperialism. Okay, so colonialism is a term where a country conquers and rules over other regions, and imperialism means creating an empire, expanding into the neighboring regions and expanding its dominance power. Okay, so colonialism is the term particularly used where the European powers invented the waterways, water routes, uh, and they had a certain domination, particularly in the colonial rule. You see only the financial domination, and in the imperialism, you see overall domination, not only the economical or financial domination. You see the political authority and the cultural hegemony over these colonies also. Okay, so that is the basic difference between this colonialism and imperialism. And in colonialism, one can see great movement of people to the new territory and living as permanent settlers. And as a part of imperialism, is just exercising power over the conquered regions, either through sovereignty or indirect mechanism of control. Okay, so in the imperialism, you see the imperialistic government domination over the colony. Okay, so imperialistic government can pass or make the laws over these colonies, and whereas in the colonialism, you cannot see such process at colonialism. You only see some the movement of the people from the mother country to the colony, and they can freely settle there without any restrictions and without any uh, particular borders or limits over there, and they can freely move to the colony, and they can trade very easily, and they can mingle the local people also. They can start any institutions or education institutions or any institutions, and you cannot see any restrictions because in the colonialism there is the great movement of private people, you can see, not as a part of government. Okay, so when you see in the imperialism, the government domination, you will see not the private uh, uh, people or a private institutions are like that, private companies are like that. Okay, so that is the main difference between this colonialism and imperialism. Okay, so when you see such why there was the imperial expansion has taken place. Okay, so you see, and I will give you some more things regarding this imperialism first of all, and because the colonialism better to be called as the old imperialism, and the imperialism may be called as the new form of colonialism, like that, because the words both imperialism, the terms of both imperialism and colonialism had the same meaning, and having some slight difference according to the time bound, and but the basic meaning is the same. You find the similar things in the imperialism, the concepts of imperialism and colonialism. And although the industrial revolution and nationalism shaped the European society in the 19th century, like the imperialism, the domination by one country or people over the another group of people, and dramatically changed the world during the latter half of the particular the 19th century. Okay, so here the imperialism did not begin in the 19th century itself, and from the 16th to the early 19th century, an era which is dominated by what is now we termed as the imperialism, old imperialism, better to be called as the colonialism. And the European nations sought trade routes with Far East and explored the New World and established the settlements in North and South American continent, as well as the Southeast Asia, and they set up trading posts and gained holds on the coasts of Africa and China also, and worked uh, closely with the local rulers to ensure the protection of European economic interests. And their influence, however, was limited. And in the age of new imperialism, that began in and around 1870, like that. I think it is from 1850 to 1870, in between. We call as starting point of the new imperialism. And the European states established vast empires, mainly in Africa, but also in Asia and Middle East. And unlike the 16th and 17th centuries, the method of establishing settlements, the new imperialistic setup, like the administration for native areas for the benefit of the colonial power. Okay, so the European nations pursued an aggressive expansion policy that was motivated by economic needs that were created by the industrial revolution. Okay, so between the 1870 and 1819, 1914, better to be called as the age of new imperialism. And the Europe went through the second industrial revolution, which became the face of change as science, technology, and industry, which spurred economic growth and improvements in the steel production, revolutionized the shipbuilding and transportation like that. And where this is the place where the modern means of transport and communication has started. And the development of railroad and the internal combustion engine and electrical power generation contributed to the growing industrial economies of Europe and their need to seek new avenues of expansion. And the expansion policy was motivated by the political needs that associated empire building with national greatness and social and religious reasons that promoted the superiority of Western society over the backward societies or the barbaric societies. And through the use of direct military force and the economic spheres of influence and annexation, European countries dominated the other parts of the world, like the continents of Africa, Asia, particularly. And by 1914, Great Britain controlled the largest number of colonies, and the phrase you can see the you can know you are aware the saying that the sun never set on the British Empire. Okay, so which describes the vastness of its holdings, the vastness of its colonies in the various parts of the world. And the imperialism had consequences that affected the colonial nations, Europe, and the world particularly. And it also led the increased competition among nations and to conflicts that would disrupt world peace in 1914 due to the First World War. Okay, so I will give you one or two points about the old imperialism and before the 1800, before the 19th century, I like that. And then I'll move to, I'll give you one or two points, old imperialism and new imperialism, and then I'll move to the factors for this imperial expansion. Okay. So when you see the old imperialism, where the European imperialism we, did not begin in the 1800s or like that. During the days in American continent and Asia and Africa and East Indies like that, and gained territory along the coast of Africa and China. And meanwhile, the Europe's commercial revolution created new needs and desires for wealth and raw materials, and mercantilists maintained that colonies would serve as a source of wealth, while personal motives by rulers, statesmen, and explorers and missionaries supported the imperial belief in glory, God, and gold. Okay, so these are the three G's where you see particularly as a part of colonies, as a part of the colonialism, as a part of old imperialism. Okay, so by 1800, the Great Britain was the leading colonial power with colonies in India and South Africa and Australia like that. And Spain colonized Central and South America, and France held Louisiana and French Guiana, and Holland built an empire in East Indies are like that. So in the first half of 19th century, colonialism became less popular, where the Napoleonic wars, the wars by the Napoleon Bonaparte, the struggle for nationalism and democracy, and the cost of industrialization exhausted the energies of European nations, first of all. And many leaders also thought that cost to their respective empires outweighed the benefits, especially the cost of supervising the colonies. And however, in the mid 19th century, Europe, especially Great Britain and France, began an economic revival during the Victorian era, which lasted from 1837 to 1900, like that. And Great Britain became an industrial giant, providing more than 25% of world's output of industrial goods. In France, Napoleon investment in industry and large-scale ventures such as railroad building and helped to promote prosperity are like that. The industrial revolution stirred the ambitions in many European countries, renewed their confidence to embark on the path of aggressive expansion overseas. When you see the new imperialism from the late 1800 throughout the 1900, the Western Europe pursued a policy of imperialism that became known as the new imperialism. Okay, so the new imperialistic age gained its impetus from economic, military, political, humanitarian, and religious reasons, as well as the development, as well as from the development and acceptance of new theory, nothing but the social Darwinism and advantage in the certain spheres of technologies. Okay, so not only that, I will give you some economic reasons, economic interest, where the industrialization created the new market to sell their surplus products and to obtain raw material and colonial products also. Okay, so by the 1870s, it became necessary for European industrialized nations, to expand their markets globally in order to sell products that they could not sell domestically on the continent. Businessmen and bankers had excess capital to invest, and the foreign investments offered the incentive of greater profits despite the risks. And the need for cheap labor and steady supply of raw materials such as oil, rubber, and certain metals, which for manufacturing of steel required that industrial nations maintain firm control over these unexplored areas. Only by directly controlling these regions, which mean setting up colonies under their direct control, could the industrial economy work effectively, or so the imperialist thought. The economic gains of new imperialism were limited, however, because the new colonies were too poor to spend money on the European goods or like that. And when you see a growing population in the 19th century, the population growth has started, and overpopulation in rural areas taken place, and where the decline of handicrafts and their traditional setup of economy had declined, and due to the decline of these things, the population from rural areas to the migration of this rural population to the urban has started, and where the density of the population in the cities has continuously raised. Okay, so and when I see certain humanitarian and religious groups, where the many Westerners believe that Europeans should civilize their little brothers beyond the seas. Okay, so because as a part of the Europeans' burden, the white man's burden, they thought that all over the world except the Europeans were the barbarians, and the responsibility of these Europeans to civilize the whole world. Okay, so it's maybe like the white man's burden, Okay, so many believe that Europe should civilize their little brothers beyond the seas, and according to this view, non-whites would receive the blessings of Western civilization, including medicine, law, and the propagation of Christianity, like that. Okay, so and according to Rudyard Kipling, in his famous poem, The White Man's Burden, what I just given you, The White Man's Burden expressed this mission in the 1890s when we prodded Europeans to take up their moral obligation to civilize the uncivilized. Okay, so he encouraged them to send forth the best breed to serve your captives need. Okay, so missionaries supported colonialization, believing that European control would help them spread Christianity, the true religion in Asia and Africa. Okay, so and then due to the industrialization and the rivalry has taken place in between the industrial powers, and the industrial powers want to expand their areas of influence to increase their political power and race to control new territories also. Okay, so and another one is that the myth of master race, where the racist and nationalistic attitudes of the time, which already given you as a part of general introduction, due to the unification of Italy and unification of Germany, where the extreme nationalism has exploded. Okay, so due to the rise of the extreme nationalism, due to the racial the racial superiority, which became a created some tension in the world, in between the world nations, and which became the main cause for the occurrence of First World War. Okay, so such things you have to see as a part of this one, as a part of racial superiority. Okay, so and social Darwinism also one of the cause for this imperialism. And Darwin published on the origin of the species in 1859, and the Darwin claimed that all life had evolved into the present state over millions of years, and to explain the long, slow process of evolution. And Darwin put forth the theory of natural selection, and natural forces selected those with physical traits best adapted to their environment. And Darwin never promoted any social ideas, and the process of natural selection came to be known as the survival of the fittest. Okay, so the Englishman, where Herbert Spencer was the first to apply survival of the fittest to human societies and nations, and the social Darwinism, the fostered imperialistic expansion by proposing that some people were more fit because they are advanced than the others, because they are civilized, because the whole world is in the uncivilized condition. And the Europeans believed that they, as the white race, were dominant, and it was only the natural for them to conquer the inferior people as nature's way of improving mankind. Thus, the conquest of inferior people was just, and the destruction of weaker races was nature's natural law. Okay, so and not only that, the second industrial revolution, where during the period of second industrial revolution, in between 1880 to 1914, where you see some new inventions has taken place. One is the electricity, which was possible after the invention of industrial dynamo, and the alternator and the transformer made it possible to transport electric current. And another one is the oil extraction. Combustion engine led to to its use as a fuel for cars and engines. And new industrial sectors emerged: chemical industry, aluminum industry, and automotive and aviation industry, which created some miracles in the world societies. Okay, so and a new way of organizing production. One is the Taylorism, which is called scientific management. Manufacturing focused on mass production as the best way to increase productivity, reduce the time taken to take things, and lower manufacturing cost. It based on assembly lines. Okay, so it's better to be called as the bulk production is there. Okay, so and mass production began in the USA, and the Ford Motor Company was one of the first companies to use an assembly lines in its car plant. Fordism, which is one of the thing you can see in the second industrial revolution, and where the high banking and industrial concentration has started, and the high capital investment required for technological innovations stimulated the relationship between the banking and industry, and industry was becoming concentrating in fewer companies. In order to restrict competitions, the major companies signed agreements to set the prices and establish areas of influence. One is the cartels, where the associations of manufacturers or suppliers with the purpose of maintaining prices at high level and restricting competition. And trust, an arrangement whereby company holds property as its nominal owner for the good of one and more beneficiaries. And holdings, a company created to buy and own shares of other companies which it then controls. And monopolies, the exclusive position or control of the supply of the trade in commodity or service. Okay, so where some developments have taken place as a part of economy and financial things, and in the same time, the trade domination and international finance also, which sparked this imperialism. And in the 19th century, industrialized countries dominated world trade, and Europe controlled the world's exports and imports, and the shipping routes, the major commercial ports, and had larger fleets, and stock markets also started, where the fleet and stock market is new concept which created some revolutionary changes in the world markets at the time. And it was possible by advances in the transport, where transcontinental railways, where the due to the opening of Suez Canal and Panama Canals, which decreases the distance between Europe and other Asian countries and Far East. Okay, so which decreases hundreds of distance kilometers of distance regions, and where which fasten this trade transportation from one place to the another. And Europe and USA dominated the world financially, and their enormous wealth allowed them to invest capital across the world in land, industries, and transport. Okay, they gained the huge profits also. Okay, so and in the not only this, and there are other things also created responsible for this imperialism. One is the Western technology, superior technology, and improved medical knowledge helped to foster imperialism. And quinine enabled Europeans to survive tropical diseases and venture into the infested interiors of Africa and Asia. And the combination of the steamboat and the telegraph enabled the Western powers to increase their mobility and quickly respond to situations that threatened their dominance. And the rapid fire machine guns also gave them a military advantage and was helpful in convincing Africans and Asians to accept the Western control. Okay, so apart from that, there are other causes for this new imperialism also, need for open markets, and they also get certain regions for raw materials, and they treated those colonies as source of investments also. And as a part of military, where need for military bases and national security and source of pride, where the nationalism has created some expansion of these territories. And as a part of humanitarian, we already discussed about the white man's burden. As a part of white man's burden, spread of Christianity has taken place. Visiting these missionaries, Christian missionaries, to the colonial places, colonial regions, and which the social Darwinism also created certain superiority of the Western society. Okay, so all these are the important factors where responsible for the emergence of this imperialistic concept and hegemony. And in this period, you see certain migrations from one place to the another as a part of imperialism. The population explosion in Europe also taking place, and the population doubled in Europe, where thanks to agricultural reforms and industrialization and advances in medicine and hygiene, a portion of this population migrated to other countries, the continents. And transoceanic journeys, migration was possible by new means of transport. Transoceanic steamship has started. Thousands of people from from all social classes sail on the same fleet and from one place to the another. Okay. So, and when you see the Europe conquered the world, where the exploration and conquest and 19th century, which is much of Africa, Asia, and Ocean, were unknown to Europeans, and colonial ambitions inspired the search for new territories and led to a number of scientific journeys and geographical explorations. And many of these expeditions were carried out by British and the French, who traveled around and mapped out Central Africa. And after the exploration phase, conquest was relatively quick and easy. Okay, so you are watching particularly the African continent, where the number of European countries which established their colonies, particularly the overall territory of Africa. And this is about where every imperialistic country from Europe who established their colonies in Africa, particularly, and due to this competition, some clashes and conflicts also taken place between these colonial powers. And this is end of my class today, and I will give you the conflicts between these colonial powers or the imperialistic powers, and I will also give you how the imperialism there at Africa and Asian countries, and then I'll give you these conflicts between the colonial powers in the next class. Okay, so students, end of my today regarding the paper 4, History of Modern World, and I will continue tomorrow, right? So, thank you. You have any clarification or doubts regarding my class? You are welcome to ask me. Students, any doubts or queries?
No, sir.
Yeah, right. Okay, so I am ending my class, and once anyone who received not received their certificates yesterday, and I will post you the link again in the group. Those who are not got the certificates, you can get by submitting your feedback. Okay, so thank you. I will post after 4 o'clock. Thank you, students. I am ending my class now.
Thank you, sir.